Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Richard Razor Sharp back with another video. It's great to finally be back recording again. As you know, I had to take some time out, had been very unwell, but have recovered. But during my recovery period, I recorded this self-cut skin fade video, but it has a difference to it. I did this skin fade using only an Andis Supra ZR2. So anyone that's used this clipper before, you'll know how powerful this clipper is. It has a 5-speed setting. It's incredibly powerful, great for removing bulk, can be used in various different ways. It's very versatile if you know how to use it. So at the moment, like I've got an outliner blade on it at the moment, but as you know, to cut with this, you have to snap on and snap off different blades. So oh, I did that the wrong way around. I did snap off on that, got it all wrong. But yeah, you have to snap on blades that you use for this clipper. And yeah, I did my own skin fade using it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to take you through kind of the steps of how I was able to do the skin fade using this clipper alone, just with different blades on it. And yeah, guys, if you like the content, let me know what you think. I'll also talk you through my approach to doing my own skin fade without using, for example, like the self-cut systems that you can buy. I literally just use 2 mirrors, one behind, one in front. So yeah, I'm going to talk you through my approach to doing your own haircut in case any of you guys ever want to try it. All right, so guys, I hope you enjoy this footage, and if you do, as I say, leave your comments, like, subscribe, but let's get into it. Let's go. Okay guys, so as you can see, I'm adding in my skin line using an outliner blade on the Andis Supra ZR2s. Now this is a blade that you can get, that you can use for balding out, but also you can use it for doing shape ups as well, which you'll see later on in this video. Now my approach to doing my own skin fade is I like to work on the sides first, and then it makes it easier for me to fade the back and connect it into the side so that I get a balanced fade all the way around. So that's the way that I approach it. And as you can see, I've got my little handheld mirror here that now allows me to see the back of my head. And you do have to get used to holding your clipper in an unfamiliar way. It's kind of back to front in terms of the way you hold it compared to if you were fading somebody's hair. But over time you get used to the grip. And as you can see here, once again, I'd say I'm just balding out, making sure that the skin level is balanced all the way around my head. And that's why I started off doing the sides first, so I could connect the back into them. Okay, so now I'm going to use a number 2 guard. This has a ceramic blade on it, so it runs cooler for longer. And I'm now taking down the top of my hair. Now I like to have a kind of methodology to the way I do my own skin fade. So I like to establish the lowest level first by putting in the skin line, and then I like to establish the highest level, so taking down the top. Now, one thing I always do is I use a comb first to comb out the top of my hair. Now I do this instead of using a brush, because a brush will cause your hair to lay down. It will accentuate your waves if you have waves. But if you want to cut your hair to its true length, then combing through it helps lift the hair up so that the blade then cuts more hair. Now, as you can see here, I've taken the top level down, and now I'm going against the grain with that same number 2 guard to blend into the length on top. Now, what you have to do with this blade system, the snap-on blade system, you have to be quite careful with how heavy you are with your hand. as you don't have a bail arm to be able to adjust the lever. So I'm going up with the number 2 on both sides, and then I'm coming down again on top of where I've gone up with the number 2, as going up helps lift the hair up, and then coming down helps cut it and lie it down flat so it blends in. Okay, so this is a 000 blade that I'm now using. It's the same as a number 1 guard, and I'm going up about an inch to establish my next fade zone or fade area. Okay, so now grab my mirror again so I can see the back, and I'm going to use the 2 sides as before to allow me to put in that same 1 inch fade area or fade zone in the back of my head. And once again, this just helps me to keep the fade balanced all the way around my head. So a really important tip if you're going to try and cut your own hair. So now I'm using a 50 blade, which is going to allow me to blend that fade zone that I created. It's very much about technique, using light flicking motions just to fade in the hair. You don't want to be too strong, as you don't have a bail arm to adjust the blade. So you just have to be light with your strokes and be careful, take your time, and not use too much pressure straight away. Okay, so now I'm using this 0A blade, which is 0.8 millimeters in cutting length, and I'm going to begin to use this to now blend the top into the sides to help me get that kind of mid-level fade that I like. So as you can see, using a combination of going against the grain, and I'm being quite light in my strokes. Once again, the key to fading with a Supra ZR2 or any snap-on clipper is pressure. So I'm not being too heavy. I'm adjusting my pressure to help blend in the hair. So as you can see, started off going up, flicking out, then coming down on top gently just to blend in the hair. And now I've got my 1.5 blade, which is going to now connect the top. So using the exact same technique, I'm going to come down on top, and then you'll see me go against the grain gently and just kind of flicking out and blending in the hair. So this is also a very visual form of fading. Because you don't have a bail arm to use, you have to really just be careful with your strokes and watch the hair blend as you make your different moves. Okay, so now at this point, I'm actually applying more pressure when I'm coming down on top to blend in the hair. So I'm flicking up, going against the grain, and then I'm using more pressure when I come down on top to help fade the hair. As I said, this is very visual, and you have to use precise strokes to help blend in the hair. Now, another tip that I'll give you here as well is the speed that you have the blade moving at also can play a part in terms of how much it cuts. So as you know, with the Supra ZR2, it has a 5-speed setting. Now personally, I never really put it above level 3. At this point, I'm using level 3 when I'm blending and I'm fading. The reason why I don't go above it is because I find that then the blade can get hot quite quickly because of how powerful it is. So I'd only ever use level 4 or 5 for very short periods of time, but that's just me personally. Now, as you'll see, I'm repeating the steps and I'm repeating the guards that I've used just to perfect and refine the fade. So this is something that you'd have to do if you were going to try and do this kind of fade, whether it be on yourself or even on a client, is that you may need to just snap back on and off various blades that you've used before as you're fading. The better you get at fading with this clipper, the quicker your work will become. Okay, so now at this point, I'm going to use the 1.5 guard just to taper the front of my head so it's ready for the shape up. Just so it slopes down nice, it creates a nice effect, and it also, I find, allows your shape up just to last a little bit longer. Okay, so now I'm going to begin the process of fading the back of my head, which is the hardest part to fade. And this is once again why I fade the sides first, so that I can connect the back into the sides. It makes it a lot easier when your sides are already blended. Now, one other thing that I strongly recommend, if you're going to do your own haircut, make sure you've got good lighting so that you can see what you're doing, particularly when you're working on the back of your head. It's really important. So now I'm just going to speed up the video so I could just quickly power through the back of his fade, and then we'll get on to the next step. Okay, so now it's time for the shape up. So once again, I've put that outliner blade back onto my Supra ZR2s. Now I have zero gap this blade, and a very important tip if you're going to use this blade to do your shape up, if you have a Supra ZR2, I personally do not put the speed above #1. Otherwise you'll cut yourself very easily because of the power of this clipper. So I just have it on #1. The blade's been zero gapped, very easy to do, and then it starts delivering really great lines. And as you can see, just tapping away at the line gently, and this is a technique I've learned where I reverse the clipper around to help do the shape up, as it allows me to see my hairline and make sure I'm keeping it level and balanced and going exactly where I want to go. So this is a great tip if you're going to do your own shape up. Try this technique out, turn the clipper back to front, and it allows you to see your whole hairline and still deliver a sharp line. Now, one of the challenges that you'll find with the Supra ZR2 when using it for shape ups, it is a heavier clipper than your standard trimmers. So if you've not used, maybe say, any of the old school corded clippers, you may not be accustomed to the weight of it. So just take your time, and if you've got it zero gapped well, it will deliver really sharp lines for you. Okay guys, you'll notice here that I'm just using a brush just to brush down the hair so that any straggling hairs can kind of stick out and they can be taken away. But also when you're doing your own shape up, always say just take your time, don't rush. There's no point giving yourself a really nice fade and then messing it all up with a messed up or wonky shape up, or you've taken your hairline back too far. So just take your time. As you can see, I'm just gently tapping away at the hairline, just establishing the shape that I want. Once I have the shape established, then sometimes I'll press down a little bit harder just to get the line a little bit sharper. But yeah guys, just take your time with this step so that you get it right the first time. And there you have it guys, a mid-level skin fade delivered just using the Supra ZR2s. So guys, if you like the content, please subscribe, leave your comments, and like the videos and share it with other people. But I hope you enjoyed this video and this tutorial, and I hope it helps you be able to cut your own hair. And if you use the Supra ZR2s, you'll know some of the blades that you can use to do a skin fade. And if you use a different clipper, you can still deliver a great skin fade on yourself using the same kind of techniques. You'll just utilize the bail arm to help blend, so it'll be a bit easier. But guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Until next time, peace.